Hello. Hey, did you see, was it yesterday or the day before yesterday? Out of the blue, Bill Clinton offered his heartfelt apology for convincing Ukraine back in the day to give up their nukes. Did you see that? He was legitimately sorry for convincing Ukraine to give up their nukes, because if they had not Clinton had not done that, things would be slightly a little different today. Pure speculation on my part, but legitimate, foregone, logical conclusion. Every time I'm in live stream, I get asked about other YouTube channels, and really, I don't watch many videos other than listening to very beautiful classical music. Certain channels that I don't know how they do it. It's highly illegitimate. Everything is like, oh, the world is going to end next week or next month. And of course, when it doesn't, then there's a new crisis. Like, oh, no, look at this. There's a corona. You know, I can't stand stuff like that. It's disingenuous. It's illogical. It's nonsensical. It's kind of like someone who gets a thrill watching a scary movie. I think people do get a thrill. You know, they have to like turn off a certain part of their brain and suspend logical thought processes to believe that, and maybe it gives a thrill down their leg or something like that. But I have no interest in any of that stuff. I can't stand videos like this, and so please, you say whatever you want about me, and I read every comment, but I'm not interested in any sort of escalation of fear. I've been accused of that a few times in a few of these videos, but I'm only interested in being logical. What's going on right now, I wanted to mention a few different things, is there's an undeniable, I don't think there's only the terminally ignorant and somebody with like less than 2 brain cells is in denial about what's going on as far as a collapse of various currencies, but specifically the dollar. The way governments have gotten out of this in the past is to start hot conflicts. And absolutely every indicator, absolutely everyone, even people that were highly dubious of this, they're fully on board. I really don't know a single logical person that's not in full agreement with that. By the way, I wanted to mention a couple things about Canada, and I keep hearing from so many Canadians. But the federal carbon tax in Canada is going from $50 per ton to $65 per ton, 30% increase, but by 2030 it's going to go up to $170 per ton. So it's going to go from 50 to 170 per ton. And people are like, well, that's only fossil fuels. I live off of recycled hippie farts and eat stuff only from my garden, and I recharge my batteries with my solar panel array. But this affects 22 different forms of fuel at a minimum. But it's going to raise the price on absolutely everything. I don't know how many people realize that basically every form of plastic and polycarbonate, comes from a petrochemical. I don't know how many people actually realize that. So it's going to raise the price on absolutely everything. Some Canadian lawmakers were actually talking about a censorship bill. I forget the name of the number designation on the censorship bill. They rammed it through. But the funny thing is that the more radical end of the Canadian government, whatever percentage that may be, they censored debate on the censorship bill. Let me repeat that again. They censored debating the validity and the logic of the censorship bill. I said this kind of jokingly in the past year and a half, and I keep hearing from so many Canadians. There's just no denying that Canada has fallen. It is a fallen country. I have not heard a single Canadian send me, an email saying, "Oh, no, you're totally wrong. Everything's okay here in Canada." I have literally, and I'm not exaggerating, I've only heard people, you're right, it's so bad, I'm trying to get out of here, this country's going crazy, I don't recognize this country anymore. You know, Canadians are nice people, or almost too nice. Now, that's not an insult, it's a compliment. And anyway, China is now launching patrols in the Taiwan Strait, and they're ordering inspections of ships in Taiwan. Taiwan says it's not going to comply. I know China is extremely angered at our visit with the head officials of Taiwan, the United States government, and Taiwan. I'm not going to interdict any position that I may or may not have about who Taiwan belongs to or doesn't belong to. That doesn't actually aid in the premise of this video. Not interested in throwing personal conjectures and subjective opinions into that. Of course, everybody keeps asking me about BRICS, which is stands for Brazil, Russia, India, and China. It's also too South Africa. They've also entered in, as I said, with Brazil, and France is even paying for some oil with the Chinese yuan. There's nobody that I know of, unless they have their head in the sand and couldn't care less because you're just so busy working and paying the bills like most people, that are not in full agreement that the petrodollar is collapsing and it's falling faster than a rock in free fall. Used to skydive every day. I know a whole lot about free fall, thousands of jumps. The French, of course, reported back to me from like a week and a half ago when I made the mistake reporting everything. Everybody else was reporting that the French were upset about the 2-year extension for retirement age. The French said that they were, shall we say, pissed at me and declaring that to be the case, and that all the media was wrong, and that it was just literally the final straw that broke the camel's back, and that the president of France, Macron, has circumvented normal governmental procedures to almost have you know, a king-like ability to pass anything he wanted, and this is what the French have told me. At an early age, I can't say investing, although I did invest back then. Now I hold no such delusions because silver is a top 5 worst investment. It's not an investment, it's asset diversification. Gold is right now at $2,020 an ounce, basically. Platinum is at $1,020 per ounce. I only ever had 1 ounce of platinum. I wished I had a lot. Silver right now is just over $25 an ounce. I knew this was going to happen because of the way things were going, and I told people this about the middle of last year. It was basically around $17 an ounce in October of last year. So now it's, by the way, like $40,000 of the silver at today's spot price is just under 40,000 US dollars, is round about just under 80 pounds. So not incredibly compact. I don't tell anybody what to do as far as asset diversification and what to spend or not spend their money on. You know, that's untoward, it's unprofessional. And but please God, the true value of gold is somewhere right around $800 due to inflation and everything that's going on in the world. Gold is a really, 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 really bad value. Unless you're super, super rich, I can actually say with some authority, not that there's any authority in a debate, only experts and novices, nobody. You keep getting bombarded with commercials, and you know, gold has an aura around it. I mean, everybody with a half a brain that knows anything about gold knows this to be the case, but it's a worst possible investment. If you want something really compact, yet of great value, no to palladium, by the way. Your average doofus has no idea what palladium is. Get platinum, which is basically $1,000 an ounce. Platinum is a great value. Right now, if I were going to stick my money into something that's both incredibly portable and yet has incredible value, it would be platinum, not gold. Gold is a really, really bad value. If things get super, super bad, and they're already really super bad as far as I'm concerned, we're technically not in a recession, we're technically in a depression right now in the United States. I would not recommend anybody get gold. Please God, if you can listen to me on anything, do not get gold. If you're going to invest money in precious metals, and it's not an investment, I shouldn't use that word again, it's asset diversification. cash is trash, get silver or get platinum. Yes, this is a huge ingot. This is 100 ounces of, this is Canadian, by the way. This is the Royal Canadian Mint. This is 100 ounces of silver. At today's price, at, what is it, like, I think at $2.20 premium per ounce on this. What's 25 bucks times 100? Plus an additional $2 premium per ounce, which includes refining, stamping, and some other little fees. I really don't have that much silver. This has a much lower premium than even the lowest premium silver. The lowest premium silver currently is Vienna Philharmonic. It is bullion grade silver. It's not numismatic silver. It has a spot of a premium of about $2.20 depending on where you buy it and how much of it you buy per, and those are 1 ounce rounds. They're 0.99 fine, 0.999 999 fine. Austrian, the Österreich silver round bullions. This is obviously not very good for barter or purchasing because, you know, you can't divide it unless you want to cut it, and nobody really wants to cut this, but this is the lowest premium. Recommend actually getting Itai Preciosi bars. It's either 10 ounce bars. They have them in 5 ounce and 10 ounce and 1 kilogram. 1 kilogram is essentially 31 troy ounces by recommendation. Best purchase, and that would be 250 bucks plus about 40 bucks of premium per ounce. So at current spot price on silver, the 10 ounce Itai Preziosi, they're Italian bullion bars, 10 ounces of those at 250 plus premium, basically just under $300 per 10 ounce. Certain states have a sales tax on bullion. There should not be one anywhere, but you could travel to a state that doesn't actually have that. So gold is just a horrible, horrible value. Unfortunately, and this is the reason why there is going to be a hot conflict. I'm using the words hot conflict instead of the W-A-R word for obvious reasons. It is coming because the dollar is collapsing. Things that are more valuable than gold, platinum, and silver combined, however, and these are things that you should really consider, and a lot of people are not considering at all. Worth way more than their weight in gold, silver, or platinum. Antibiotics. I've gotten scripts for Augmentin and ciprofloxacin. You obviously need a prescription for that, but I mean it's prophylactic antibiotics. You keep them stored in the refrigerator. Augmentin is a broad spectrum antibiotic. I'm not giving anybody medical advice. Consult with your medical doctor on this. But those are way more worth their weight in gold or silver or platinum. Number one thing to actually have is land. Absolutely is. It's going to feed you. It's going to protect you. It's a refuge. I have tons and tons of people emailing me every day about, you know where land's at. And recently, you know, my real estate agent guy that I know came up with, one's a 196 acre tract. The other one is like a 9.7 acre tract of a beautiful farmland. I don't get any money or kickbacks off of that, but I keep my eyes peeled every day for land. Skills and tools, two separate things. The tools and the skill to know how to use them, and also to you know, how to perform first aid procedures. I have a decent amount of first aid skills as a former dive master PADI. That's an organization for open water scuba. Also, too, did some other first aid emergency stuff. That doesn't make me a paramedic or anything, but I know a lot more than the average person does on first aid skills. Also, too, first aid toolkits, you know, with your bandages and thermometers and quick clot, stuff like that. Number one thing, and nobody ever talks about this. Why am I the only person that ever talks about this? There is this stuff, whether it be gold, silver, or platinum. By the way, nobody should be buying gold unless you're filthy rich. Gold is a horrible value. There's having this, and there's keeping it. Okay? Having it, and then there's keeping it. Every place in any governmental institution across this earth, wherever this stuff exists, and who has it, i.e. a government entity or a rich person, for example. There's the necessity of being able to hold it, to keep it. So what protects is kind of an old joke, but it's not a joke at all. It's like, what protects gold, silver, and platinum? And the answer is one thing: lead. I'll let you figure out what lead is. Specifically, I call it HVL. So having it and holding it are two different things. Canning supplies, non-perishable food, seeds, not only for growing, but also too for microgreens. I've told you over and over and over again the amount of people that could be fed for a significant period of time off of just this is a bit over a pound, of alfalfa sprout seeds is absolutely unbelievable. It makes an awful lot of food. And this is both lightweight and extremely portable, and you could feed a lot of people on microgreens, a lot. So seeds for growing. Soon enough, and my prediction on this will prove to be accurate because a hot conflict is coming. Hot conflict is when lead starts flying. And unfortunately, and I hope it doesn't happen, uranium and plutonium. There's going to be there's a prediction. Actually, there's an ancient oracle prediction that the end of the world as we know it will be when the gods start flying through the sky. There's actually god designations for, the god of the underworld, Pluto, i.e. plutonium, and for Uranus, uranium. When the gods start flying through the sky will be the end. That's an Oracle of Delphi prediction from many, many eons ago. Not many, many, but a long, long time ago. So when the gods start flying, the underworld gods, Uranus and Pluto, i.e. plutonium and uranium, it's like, psh, that's it. I don't want to see that happening, but there is no way, and I'm not, in any way supporting of this. I'm just looking at the bare facts. The US dollar is 100% hardcore, flat-out collapsing, and collapsing fast. Many very brilliant entities agree with this. I've been saying this now for some time. I didn't think it would happen so fast. But before it does collapse and things go helter-skelter, there will be hot conflict. There just absolutely will be. I would not want that to be the case, but it is. So remember, silver, platinum, antibiotics, land, skills, tools, HVL as I call it, or lead. This is a ball of lead right here. Canning supplies, non-perishable food, and seeds for both growing, but also seeds for microgreens. The stuff you plant outside and you water it and watch it grow to give you food, and there's the other stuff that you can grow in your windowsill, microgreens. Say, well, you have no electricity. You don't need electricity and lighting supplies to sprout your microgreens, okay? These actually need no light except to green them on the very last day when you're microgreening them. Mung beans, my other favorite's mung beans. I got another 20 pounds of mung beans coming. Need to be stored in a cool, dry, and dark place. But they will store indefinitely. Contrary to what people say, oh, the seeds don't last long. No, there's just a percentage of die-off every year. If they're stored under perfect ideal conditions, there's just a percentage of die-off. It becomes slightly more, and then it kind of levels out, then it becomes more and more. But seeds have been tested, microgreen seeds, for sprouting and whatnot for 30, 40 plus years. Yes, a certain percentage die off after that many decades, but they're still viable, a significant percentage of them. So I beg you, because we had a huge discussion about this last night in live stream, please don't buy gold. It is a horrible, right now is the worst possible time you could think to stick money into gold. Just don't even, I know you're bombarded, there's the luster around gold. It's been there since the dawn of time, and there's all these idiotic TV commercials that push gold. It's a horrible idea. Consider silver or platinum. You want something compact and very valuable? The answer is platinum. Great value. It's going to hold its own with gold as far as a precious metal tangible. It's actually going to hold it better than gold. And you're also, too, Gold, by the way, platinum, for many countless years, and I watched gold, silver, and platinum basically every day for decades and decades, most of my life. Many of those years, platinum was higher than gold. Many of those years. I don't know if you know that or not. Per ounce. This is another reason why gold is a horrible just absolutely horrible. Don't consider it. So the dollar is collapsing fast. There is going to be a hot conflict. I don't want that to happen. Yeah, but before the dollar collapses, there will be hot conflict. And the United States and the military-industrial complex and, the less than favorable people that are running this so-called government right now, they're cruising for a bruising, and they really are hot to trot on a hot conflict, and it is coming. China met with Putin. Leader of China met with Putin, was it a week and a half ago? And they said that the whole, everything is going to be changed as far as the monetary. So, that is a fact. That's just absolutely a fact. So, tell me what you think. I read every comment. Prepare yourself. I'm not saying take all the money out of the... By the way, we can't trust banks either. I'm not saying, make a major, super serious decision that's going to affect the way that your ability to pay bills and do your normal daily things, but what percentage that you have wiggle room in should be moved into asset diversification, and I'll let you make that decision. It's none of my business what anybody does or does not do. And I also, too, don't believe in telling other people what to do. But it is coming, and those that are unprepared will woefully regret it. And that is not fear-mongering. That's a fact. It is coming. Thanks for watching, and goodbye. I'm going to take this with me.